Folsom Automall, Folsom Link Ford, Folsom Link Toyota. Experience the difference, the official Automall partner of the Sacramento Kings. Welcome back, Arco. The Grizzlies and the Kings moments away from tip-off. And we get to the Folsom Lake Ford. Keys to the ball game, Jerry.
Well, number one, points in the paint. Kings have a big advantage tonight with both Vlade Divac, Chris Webber, just a lot more size, talent in there, so you got to go in low. Second, fast break points. Grizzlies do not score a lot. Average only 91 a game, so get out and score. Number three, no career games for any of the Grizzlies. Sharif Abdur-Rahim capable. You've got to just keep everybody to their averages.
All right, now we go to center court. A special announcement as the Kings owners, Joe and Gavin Maloof, about to address the sellout crowd here in Sacramento.
Thank you very much. First of all, we'd like to thank all of you for being such a big part of the Kings' success this season. Tonight, we'd like to recognize a very special person. She's put together a plan to revitalize downtown, which could lead to a new arena for Sacramento. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Mayor Heather Fargo. To be a great organization, we believe you need consistency and continuity. We took another important step in that direction this season. We extended the contract for Coach Rick Adelman. Tonight, we are happy to announce another similar action. We extended the contract for Jeff Petrie, Vice President of Basketball Operations.
Well, thanks very much, Gavin, and I'd really like to express my deepest gratitude to Joe, Gavin, the rest of the Maloof family for a tremendous amount of energy and enthusiasm and confidence and support that they've brought not only to me but to the entire franchise. It's been great, and it also would have ever happened. Thank you very much.
Hold on. Thank you, Jeff, Mayor Fargo, and don't ever tell me that this isn't the loudest in the world.
And thank you to team owners Joe and Gavin Maloof, the Vice President of Basketball Operations.
Yeah, that's great news about Jeff Petrie, as his contract has been extended. Nobody in the last several years has done a better job of assembling a basketball team than Jeff Petrie.
Well, absolutely not. You know, if you look around the NBA for top executives, any list you put out there, Jeff's right at the very top of it, not the top.
All right, why don't we look at the starting lineups first, the Vancouver Grizzlies. And they will go with Ike Austin from Gridley, Grant Long, Sharif Abdur-Rahim, with the backcourt of Mike Bibby and Michael Dickerson. Sidney Lowe, this team really struggling, 12 up, 33 down, finding it first year as the Grizzlies head coach can be a little difficult.
Well, as have all Grizzly coaches since the Grizzlies were formed. Certainly no one has really got it going there. Sidney Lowe, second stint as a head coach, having previously been with the Minnesota Timberwolves. So definitely seen a lot of losing.
Sacramento goes with their same starting five. Vlade Divac in the pivot with Chris Webber and Peja Stojakovic. And the backcourt for Sacramento, Jason Williams and Doug Christie. And what a job Rick Adelman is doing. He has reason to be smiling. And we're underway, and it'll be Sacramento with the first opportunity. Glad to have you with us here on Fox Sports Net. Sacramento 30 wins, 12 losses. And it's Chris Webber getting the Kings on the scoreboard.
Well, Kings going in low early, establishing Chris Webber on that low block, using that half hook, and that's a good sign. Obviously, the Kings know they have an advantage in low with both Webber and Divac.
10 on the shot clock. Now Dickerson, the draw and kick to Austin. And it's Christie.
Well, Kings are going to want to push the tempo as much as they can. Get a lot of possessions, a lot of up and downs.
And the turnover now, it's off Dickerson out of bounds. 13 on the shot clock.
You know, Kings feel that the more points are scored, the better chance they're going to have to win, obviously. As we talked about earlier, the Grizzlies only average about 90 points a game.
Vlade Divac a little bit short. Divac another opportunity.
Well, Vlade Divac, Chris Webber, Vlade Divac back-to-back, getting the ball in low, scoring the ball.
You know, Shaquille O'Neal cannot play in the All-Star game. Vlade Divac was third among centers with votes right behind David Robinson. And you have to wonder if he would be added to the All-Star team. 3-on-2 as Sacramento gives the give and go. And right now, Sacramento making baskets with very little effort. Sidney Lowe cannot be very happy with that defensive transition. Well, the series between these two ball clubs, of course, we told you Sacramento winning the last game by 2, but they lead the all-time series 16-5, and they have won 9 of 10 here in this building, and they're off to the impressive 6-zip start.
Well, really establish themselves in low, as we talked about, and also getting out, putting pressure on the break, trying to score the ball early. We saw there. So Kings doing the things that Rick Adelman wanted them to do and impress on them to do early on. Really, I think Sidney Lowe just trying to get his team focused to make sure that they're going to go about. And yeah, you're down, but you can put out a better effort, play smarter and harder than this.
Now it's long from about 21. Right to Dickerson. Second chance opportunity, and Vancouver's on the scoreboard.
That's one thing about it. When you get second chance opportunities, usually you score.
Divac is short from the top of the circle. Now Austin looks to the top. Boy, very quiet Arco Arena. They know that it's a team that the Kings should easily beat, and the energy and enthusiasm is not there. And there's the block now. That gets the fans excited a little bit. Boy, Chris Webber and Vlade Divac collapsing down low. And what a job Webber's done this year in blocking shots.
Well, very active. Here you see Vlade Divac taking Austin, but Chris Webber knows that Ike Austin's going to spin back, comes over to help, and just smushes it down. Kind of does a Webberizing as opposed to a posterizing. That would be a Webberizing.
Williams with the first foul. The officials, by the way, Bennett Salvador, David Jones, and Rashawn Michelle. So we're 2 minutes and 6 seconds into this one, and the Kings lead by 4. And nice help defense. We're really struggling on the offensive side. Peja cut off by Long on the nice defense. 12 to shoot. And Stojakovic knocks down the jumper.
Well, as you said, 12 to shoot, and that's about 10 more than he needed. And Peja got free, got some space against Grant Long, knocked it down.
It's going to be fun watching him at All-Star Weekend in the three-point shooting contest.
Well, it really will. I think he'd have to be one of the favorites. You just really don't know how it's going to go, obviously, but he's one of the premier shooters in this league.
Sacramento on the move again. Of course, players find when they get there it's a little bit different once the competition begins than practicing at your respective home gym. Divac, and he gets the roll. And the Kings extend the lead to 8.
Well, nice pass, C. Webb, but really more importantly what you're seeing is Kings able to get the ball in low. Both Webber, Divac getting in the position they want and getting the ball.
Yeah, and no big country tonight. Bryant Reeves with the flu, so he's not playing. 5 on the shot clock. Bibby inside the three-point circle. And Webber with the board.
Well, you love to see that. One and done.
Divac. Boy, do those two work well together? That is just incredible. Vlade Divac to Peja Stojakovic.
Well, Vlade just simply was going to get Peja the ball. Peja kept moving. Grant Long actually did a pretty good job on him, but finally just See, her Vlade Divac found a place to put the ball.
That's just pretty basketball.
That's just great basketball.
And an illegal defense, it's the first, so it's just a warning. So a good start for Sacramento. Sidney Lowe knows his team's in trouble. We told you about their road struggles. Watch Vlade Divac again, Jerry, on the post.
Now watch Vlade. Yeah, he's decided he's going to find Peja. Finds the spot. Grant Long just turns his head for a second, and that's all it takes.
Dickerson. Nice job of boxing out by Peja. And Weber had to go off his foot. First turnover for Sacramento.
Good defensive effort. Grant Long really did not have a good entry pass into Chris Weber. Peja probably should have swung the ball around instead of trying to force it.
Now Bibby wide open on the angle. Vancouver really cold. They are now 1 of 10. Peja. And it's like Austin with the rebound. Bibby looks to push. And the basket will count for Abdur Rahim, and it'll go to the line looking for the three-point play.
Boy, nice play. Mike Bibby really forced the action. Took a couple of Kings on, as you see, right up the back of Vlade. Finds Rahim running the floor. Rahim gets the contact, able to make the play.
Not much of contact, but they call it on Stojakovic.
Well, the thing the Kings have to be a little concerned about is, even though the Grizzlies have shot very poorly, but they've gotten pretty good shots. And I think probably Rick Adelman sitting over there saying, hey, we're going to play a little better defense. We can't give up that many easy shots.
Actually, they call the foul on Christie, not Stojakovic. Well, a lot of one-on-one going on right now for Sacramento. The ball movement has stopped.
Yeah, sometimes when you start as well as the Kings did, you have a tendency to forget how you started well.
Well, the Kings missed an opportunity there. And it's Dickerson. Out of bounds to Sacramento. So Dickerson's off 1 of 3. Their backcourt combined. Dickerson and Bibby 1 of 6. And it's out of bounds off Bibby.
But as you said, the last few trips, Kings a little too much one-on-one. Need to get back to getting the ball in low, getting the ball moving.
Weber, a little bit too high. Well, this is about as quiet as you'll ever hear Arco Arena. Stojakovic off the steal. Grant Long trying to cut him off at the pass. Fans not happy with that hard foul on Grant Long, and Rick Adelman gets up and wanted to know if he was going for the ball and should that be a flagrant. Let's look at it again.
Let's have a look at here. Peja in the open floor with a great steal. Now, is Grant Long going for the ball? Yeah, you'd have to give him that that he was going for the ball. Certainly, it was a hard foul, but you can see there was no intent to injure.
Nope. Well, as you say, if you're going to foul, make sure he doesn't make the basket, and that's exactly what Grant Long did.
That's exactly right. That's just a good play in a tough situation. Peja knows it. Just happy to make the free throw.
So Peja with 5 quick points. And it's 14-5. Now Abdur Rahim. You can see the help by Divac. 6 on the clock. And Sharif Abdur Rahim has 5 points. 14-7 Sacramento. Timeout upcoming at the next whistle.
Well, Abdur Rahim, one of the things he's improved on the most in his career is his outside shooting. Really defended very well by Peja, but made a good shot.
Yeah, he's shooting 48% on the season. And a violation. Jason Williams called for the foul, his second. Timeout. First quarter action. 5:42 left, and the Kings leading by 7. Well, Sacramento with the 7-point lead, 5:42 left, and we check in front of the Grizzlies bench. And here's Jim Kozimor. Coz?
Grant, thanks very much. Always interesting to take a player and break down some of his numbers. We're going to do that. One of the Kings fan favorites. That's Jason Williams. Of his overall production of the NBA season, take a look at how quickly he comes out of the gate. His first quarters have been absolutely stupendous. Of his 13-point average, 7 of those points come into the first quarter. He's shooting much better in quarter number 1. His 3-point percentage is high. And on Tuesday night against Golden State, 6 points and 6 assists in quarter number 1. Now here tonight against the Vancouver Grizzlies, he certainly has started slowly. No scoring, no assists, couple of fouls. But remember, he does do well in quarter number 4. We see a Bobby Jackson or someone else out there. Maybe that's why Jason's number is so big in the first 12 minutes. Grant, Jerry, back to you guys.
All right, there's Jason Williams, and he's got fouls. He'll stay in the ball game. He's looking at Rashawn Michelle right now. Didn't know why he was called for the foul.
And Jason's still trying to decipher where that came from. I don't think Mr. Michelle's going to change it, so Jason said, okay, I'll move on.
All right, Bibby remains out there with Dickerson, Abdur Rahim, Austin, and Long. First quarter action, 5.5 left. Dickerson and Long around the flying Chris Webber. So it's a 5-point game. Divac gets the step. Nice setup to Webb.
Well, as we've said so many times, Vlade Divac, not many centers can penetrate, draw people to him, make a play like a guard, but you have one on the Sacramento Kings.
Long and no. And it's Williams breaking out of the pack. Kings with a 4-on-3. Well, it worked, but not the way you would draw it up on the board.
Looked a little bit like a bowling alley attempt there.
Oh, what a nice scoop with the left hand by Chris Webber.
Well, see, Webb has a great left hand, and you saw it in action.
Webber has 8. Quick shot, no, and the Kings again. 5-on-4.
But Jay Will holding up. Well, didn't have the numbers he wanted. Good point guard play.
Very impressive, 62%. Good look by Webber, but Long. Now the flip to Dickerson. Christie. And he knocked it away, but right to Dickerson. So but Christie gets his hands on the ball. By that time, the fortunate bounce goes Michael Dickerson's way. 18-11 Kings.
Yeah, Doug's one of those guys that's going to get a couple steals every game and going to get about 4 or 5 tips.
And Divac. Christie drew a crowd, and Vlade Divac cut to the basket. Very basic basketball, effective, and it's a 9-point game. Where the Kings forward line has done all the scoring. Christie and Williams have yet to score.
Well, really, that Grizzlies defense, especially in the interior, is slow to react to the Kings' movement, and that's one of the reasons you're seeing all the points being scored there.
And a travel. So the Kings get it right back.
Well, like Austin struggling a little bit here, the Gridley, California native, taking a few extra steps. Got called. Not happy about it.
Even though it's early, you get the impression that if the Kings put their mind to it for the next 4 or 5 minutes, they can pretty much end the game. With the way Vancouver started, it just seems the Kings like this just have the absolute way down low. There's no way Vancouver can stop Sacramento if they continue to pound the ball down low.
Well, they certainly can't stop them one-on-one. They're going to have to give double team help on both Vlade Divac and Chris Webber. They haven't really come on catch yet, but you know, they may have to change their strategy. I mean, they definitely have to change their strategy. I don't know if they will.
Oh, a nice baseline move by Grant Long, a well-traveled veteran.
Good, solid all-around basketball player. One of those guys that has always been a good player, a lot of different roles, usually as a limited role player, but always effective.
And it's knocked away by Ike Austin. Oh, he threw it away. That's the easiest basket they'll have this season.
Well, actually, Ike Austin got a nice assist to Vlade Divac. That's probably not the way you'd normally want it.
Boy, Ike Austin, top of the screen. He's walking as if he's got ankle weights on. Wonder if he's injured. Well, we got to take a break, and we'll come back and talk about that. 24-13, Sacramento. Well, Sacramento on top, 24-13 here in the first quarter. And we look at tonight's In the Zone. It is brought to you by AutoZone. The right part, the right price, and good advice. Tim Duncan. 26 points, nearly 13 rebounds, 54% floor during San Antonio's 5-game winning streak. I'd say he's very much in the zone.
Well, and as Kings fans well know, last Thursday saw Tim in a ultimate zone as they were able to beat the Kings. I think Tim had, what, 36 points and 20-some rebounds.
How about these two guys tonight?
Pretty nice zone they're in already. And as we thought would happen, certainly the Kings would have a big advantage inside.
Well, off the bench, Tony Massenberg comes in. And a pass intended for Dickerson picked off. Jason. Oh, what a pass! If you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball.
Oh, boy, Jay Will. Oh, my. Jay Will give you a thrill.
26-13. 2 minutes left first quarter.
I still got goosebumps.
And a rebound, Divac. Quick outlet. Kings 3-on-3. Weber gets the step. This is just too easy. Vancouver is sleeping on defense.
Well, just really not running the floor, not getting back in position at all. So looks like if the Kings rebound the ball and really push it and run out, they're going to get some easy opportunities.
And they can blow out this team. Seems like when they want. And they're in the process right now. Abdul-Rahim stolen by Williams. All the scoring coming from the forwards. Christie trying to change that, but he can't. Massenberg with the rebound.
Great look by Doug Christie, not able to get it to go.
And that shot finally falls. Vancouver shooting 29%. It's 28-15, a minute left. Christie. And finally the guards are on the scoreboard. Doug Christie. And he'll look for the three-point play with Sacramento up by 15.
Boy, that's a beautiful play by the Kings. Doug Christie looked like he's going to set a back pick, just slipped it, went right to the basket. Kings delivered the ball. Eric
Strickland just acquired in the trade. Of course, Othello Harrington goes to the Knicks.
Yeah, that's a very interesting trade. Othello Harrington, we know the last time the Kings played the Grizzlies went for 24 points, 20 rebounds. So I don't think
that's right.
Eric Strickland's going to do that, Grant. I'm just telling you today, right now, he's not going to get 24 and 20.
Well, I know one thing. It's got to be tough going for a team that's got a chance to go far in the playoffs to Vancouver in the middle of the season. But that's basketball. That's pro sports, and Strickland has to deal with it. And he's, I know, reading his comments, dealt with it very well. Of course, he feels like he'll get a chance to play more. That's right. And that's always good for players. And it won't roll for Abdul-Rahim. Divac with the block out. 2 for 1 for Sacramento if they hurry. 31-15. Peja traveled. Good call. He was going to pull the trigger, and then he changed his mind. I think that's a good call. The fans don't like it, but it looked like he moved. Yeah, I really can't see. I couldn't see his feet. Certainly, he really didn't have to travel. He really had a good look when he caught it. So it's probably one of those that Peja, if he had it over again, would go ahead and pull the trigger. 4th Sacramento turnover, and yet they've still put 31 up on the board. Bibby with the shot clock off. Abdul-Rahim, and that will do it. He does not get it off. So a good first quarter for Sacramento. They control play, and they have built up this 16-point advantage. Chris Weber, Vlade Divac with double-figure scoring, each with 10. So at the end of one, it's 31-15 Sacramento. Back here in Sacramento. Well, tomorrow, Fox Sports Net, a full lineup of college hoops action. The women get it going at 11 o'clock with Baylor and Colorado. Then Washington and Washington State square off. Then at 3 p.m. the men take over. It's Washington again against Washington State. USC and Cal at 5. And at 7 p.m. number 19 Fresno State versus San Jose State. Tip off 11 a.m. tomorrow only on Fox Sports Net. A lot of good hoops tomorrow. Now Abdul-Rahim in a crowd. Good defense by Sacramento. Pollard, who just checked in. It's Christie, Bobby Jackson, Weber, Stojakovic. Jackson wide open. Shakes free. And it's out of bounds to Sacramento. Bibby starts the second quarter for Vancouver. He's out there with Damon Jones, Tony Massenberg up front with Strickland and Abdur-Rahim. Well, folks, call 916-419-WNBA. Place your deposit Monday for your Monarch season tickets and see the best women's basketball players in the world this summer right here at Arco. Again, 419-WNBA. Strickland. And Vancouver continues to really struggle at 28%.
One thing Sidney Lowe has done, he's really went with a small lineup now. 3 guards on the floor, 2 forwards, not playing without a center, trying to get more quickness on the court, hoping that will help. Certainly we'll have to wait and see if that holds true. Couldn't hurt.
John Barry, top of the screen, getting ready to come in at the next whistle. Jackson with the offensive rebound. And now it's a 3-on-1. And Abdur-Rahim fouled, and they'll go to the line. Doug Christie with the foul, his second.
Well, here we see Damon Jones in the open floor, finding Abdur-Rahim taking straight to the basket. There is the foul called that Doug Christie went across the wrist of Abdur-Rahim. Looked like that was a good call. So many times Doug is so good at that play, normally gets the ball before the guy gets it up into the shooting area.
Allen Iverson, 47 points in a losing cause today. Double overtime, I think, was the score of that game. Philadelphia and Orlando.
Wow. He is a tough guy to guard, that is for sure.
Seven to shoot, and a whistle for a foul on Strickland. First foul on Strickland. Right here in the second quarter, it's 31-18 Sacramento. Jackson, Barry in the backcourt. Weber, Pollard, Stojakovic. Weber gets the roll. He has 12.
Chris felt he got a little push on that shot. Looked like he may have, but no call, but able to make the shot anyway. The boy down low with that half hook, he is almost automatic.
Abdur-Rahim, jump hook, no. And Barry able to save it from going out of bounds. And a foul on the backcourt on Vancouver, and it's on Damon Jones. Indiana, Jerry, at home beats Denver tonight.
Well, Denver, I mean, certainly Denver's been playing extremely well. Indiana is since here again, I think since they came into Sacramento, have righted the ship and been playing very well.
And Hedo Turkoglu in for Stojakovic. Kings on top. They had led from the opening tip. Ten to shoot.
Mismatch, Hedo on Eric Strickland takes him right to low hole and up over the top. Good recognition by both Hedo and Chris Weber.
35-18.
Obviously, with 3 guards, you're going to have somebody who's got an advantage.
Massenberg slapped away by Barry. Strickland now with the fadeaway side pop, no. And it's Hedo again. This time finds Weber looking for his first 3 of the year. Finally, Chris Weber. It took him till February, and he just, well, look at Vlade Divac going crazy on the Sacramento bench. Chris Weber, 1 of 18 now from three-point land, and the fans for the first time tonight on their feet.
And Chris trying to kind of play it down, but I know he's pretty happy. He's been a little bit frustrated because last year he shot quite a few threes and had a, not a good percentage, but at least had a percentage.
38-18. Sure, he's probably embarrassed by that ovation because he thinks that it's unbelievable that he's missed as many in a row as he has.
Yeah, he really doesn't want the people to be as excited about it as they were.
Well, they have found one weakness in his game, right?
Yeah. Maybe they hope by cheering somebody that maybe he won't shoot anymore.
Yeah. He's proved that he can make one. Is that what you're saying? Strickland.
Well, that's the only thing he hadn't done this year.
That's it. And a careless pass intended for Turkoglu. So the Kings and the Grizzlies will talk it over. Mandatory timeout. A 7-0 Sacramento run as Rick Adelman and his team coasting over Vancouver.
Flying to San Diego for business? If these 11 reasons don't convince you to fly Southwest Airlines nonstop to San Diego, maybe this will. Fly 4 round trips anywhere Southwest flies and earn a free ticket when you book online at southwest.com.
You are now free to move about the country.
Carl's Jr. Without us, some guys would starve. The charbroiled superstar.
38-18 here in the second quarter, and we check in with Jim Kozimor.
Grant, the Sacramento Kings are absolutely riding a high, and the main reason for that high is standing next to me. That's Jeff Petrie. Everyone knows him, but now you'll know him a little bit longer because Joe and Gavin Maloof announcing before the game that they've extended the contract of Jeff Petrie, and he'll be around for a lot more. Congratulations. But how did that come about? When did they talk to you?
Well, we sat down earlier this week, and just Joe and Gavin and I, and you know, just kind of talked it through. And I mean, like I told the crowd and our fans, I mean, they've brought such a tremendous amount of energy and resources and confidence in the team and so many things to the organization that they're great to work for. I really enjoy it. Our staff really enjoys it, and you know, on top of that, I think it's a great community to live in and really grown to be very comfortable here, so I'm real happy.
You've done a remarkable job of this club. Do you ever get a chance to sit back and enjoy the work you've done?
Well, you know, I just like watching us play, especially this year, and yeah, the best part about it is hopefully everybody else does too.
All right, Jeff, congratulations. It's my understanding that Jerry Reynolds is responsible for your greatness, though.
Well, he's given me a lot of advice over the years.
Thanks, Jeff. Let's go back to you guys.
And Coach, Jerry has yet to beat Jeff Petrie in the tennis court, right?
Well, now that he's got the long-term contract, that means I'll have a place to play a lot longer. So,
and the beard should slow him down a little bit.
It's going to take a lot longer beard than that, I'll tell you that. But what a great executive he's been. And you know, and like I say, Jeff's, you know, there's an example bringing in a guy like John Barry, who's been a terrific role player to make the team better coming off the bench. And you know, that's you'll just put all the pieces together, and certainly tonight, right, so far, all the pieces are fitting.
Bibby, Mike Bibby hit, and it's 41-20 with 4 minutes gone by here in the second quarter. Let's set the lineup for you. It's Jackson with Barry, Turkoglu, Funderburk, Pollard up front. The first round draft pick for Vancouver, Stromile Swift, is checked in. Well, Hito's looking good here in the second quarter.
Yeah, it's really good to see Hito looking for his shot. Hito scorer on a lot of occasions, but it seemed like lately he's been just trying to fit in almost to a fault, but being more aggressive offensively, and you see all the things he can do.
12-2 run for Sacramento and a chance to add on, but now Massenburg steps in front of Bobby Jackson.
It's also interesting, Hito, the 16th pick, has probably been far more productive this year than has Stromile Swift, the second pick in the draft by the Vancouver Grizzlies.
What do you think the reason for that is with Swift? Is there's a blocking foul on Barry and he's not happy, but what about Swift's lack of progress this season?
You know, I'm not sure he's got a position yet. You know, I think he was drafted to be a power forward. Physically, you can see he really isn't. And so that means he's got to have the skills to play small forward, which he really doesn't.
But he's still very young.
Very young and very athletic. So there's no reason he can't achieve all those things. But I think that's one thing when you take these young guys, 20, 21 years old, instead of judging a draft in 3 years, now you need to judge it in 4 or 5.
Yeah, because physically, first of all, they're just not capable of playing at this level at a power forward position.
Exactly right. And certainly about 2 years, you'll probably see a different looking body.
We saw it the other night with Darius Miles and the Clippers trying to defend Chris Webber.
Exactly right.
And the Kings now 4-on-2. Hito, nice pass to Jackson. Oh, Bobby cost Hito an assist, and he'll let him know after the game if they win. Dickerson twisting and turning. And Abdul-Rahim fouled, and he'll go to the line. Scott Pollard with the bump.
Well, Rick Adelman frustrated that last play because that's one of those plays that when you don't score on and the opposition, they come down and get 2. So it's really a 4-point exchange. Here's the Grizzlies in transition. Nice ball movement, getting in the ball into Abdul-Rahim, who's just their go-to guy.
(43-23). Abdul-Rahim, 11 points as Webber tucked away. Looking at this one, we'd think that his minutes would be reduced here in this game if this score holds up. Oh, a no look to Pollard, and he'll step to the free throw line.
Well, beautiful look by John Barry, drew all the defense to him. Grizzlies have went to a half-court trap situation, really trying to double the ball in many situations. John Barry's so smart, he understands that, splits the defense there, draws people to him. Pollard who gets the foul. But that's great when you can bring guys like Bobby Jackson, John Barry off your bench. Very skilled guys, experienced players. The opposition goes to a half-court trap, doesn't faze them. They've seen it all, done it all. Been to county fair, as they used to say.
And Scott Pollard, 45-23. Well, Vancouver looking very much like a team that is 12-33.
Actually looking like one that should be about 2.
Yeah, that's good. That's
45.
Good.
But I mean, because we saw much earlier in the year, we're playing much better than we're seeing so far tonight.
Hito from 3. Long rebound to Jackson. Oh, what a pass. And a better one to Thunderbird. And a foul called. Rick Adelman telling John Barry, hey, when you're that close, shoot the ball.
Yeah, John, that's one of the flaws John has. He's almost too unselfish, but really there is no reason to pass up a layup. I mean, there simply isn't a pass to be made, pass to open layup.
So Lawrence Thunderbird to the free throw line. And now the only player that has not scored for Sacramento that's been in the ball game, Bobby Jackson, and he should have scored. He missed a wide open layup. Nick Anderson, Derek Martin, the only 2 that have not played, and that will change if this continues. And Lawrence missing by about 2 feet, and I think we had a lane violation. Is that what Bennett Salvador is calling? Oh, it's a double lane violation.
Double lane violation, which I'm not surprised, because I think honestly you could call that just about on every free throw. But break for the Kings. Kind of at least gives Lawrence a chance to get the ball back after that embarrassing air ball. I'm sure none of the Kings players will remind him of that.
Doesn't seem like really a fair rule to have a jump ball on a double lane violation. Just seems to me that the team that was supposed to get the ball should get the ball. You know, I don't ever recall seeing that in my 13 years of doing the NBA. I don't ever recall that being the decision made by the official. Thunderbird. You ever see that call before?
I have seen it one time
you're
before.
100 years old, so that doesn't surprise me.
That's back in the spring of '47. I saw it. Yeah.
Now it's Pollard and the Kings. Jackson flips out to Barry. Thunderbird. Lawrence Thunderbird. And the route is on here in Sacramento.
It really is. Kings, one thing about Kings getting a little careless sometimes on offense, still scoring some points, but have consistently played good hard defense and rebounded the basketball.
A 17-5 run.
You see challenging every pass, you know, really competing for the basketball.
Long. And Pollard with the rebound, and a foul called on John Barry. And that will give us a mandatory timeout. 5 minutes and 3 seconds left. And it's 48-23 Sacramento.
A kid was walking on a beach where the tide had left 1,000 starfish stranded. He began tossing them one by one back into the ocean when someone asked, "How could you think you're going to make a difference?" And as the kid tossed another fish back into the sea, he replied, "I made a difference to that one." If any one of us are going to make a difference, we first can come up to improve your community.
The NBA's most exciting team is on Fox Sports Net. The Sacramento Kings are an offensive powerhouse, capable of outscoring their opponents anywhere, anytime. Led by one of the NBA's most dominant players, Chris Webber, the Kings bring on the Showtime excitement that has to be seen to be believed. Don't blink. You just might miss the high-flying Kings all season long on Fox Sports Net.
Здравствуйте, дорогие друзья! Итак, мы с вами в Хабаровске на чемпионате по пощечинам. Сейчас видно, что чемпионат пройдет великолепно. Уж так сильны оба претендента. Итак, смотрим. Уже сейчас видно, что чемпионат пройдет великолепно. Как и обещали нам его организаторы. Единственный претендент на чемпионский титул Розановский без...
Kings basketball brought to you in part by Southwest Airlines. Log on for low fares at southwest.com, a symbol of e-freedom. Well, 5 minutes and 3 seconds left, first half. And it's 48-23. Kings, they will find the competition to be a little bit more stiff come Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Chris Webber already with 15 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks in only 15 minutes of work.
Yeah, but he doesn't have any steals.
We'll have to fix that.
Hey, come on, C-Web. But as you know, one thing early on, C-Web, Bloody Divac established themselves low that they could pretty much do what they wanted, and they did it. So it's really in the Grizzlies' court now. What kind of effort they're going to do, how they're going to try to get back in this ball game, because they've got to try to fight back right now if they're going to make any kind of game.
Absolutely. Sacramento with 6 steals, and Lawrence Funderburk with a foul. So free throws for Vancouver. So Vancouver in the bonus situation. Sharif Abdul-Rahim with 11 points. 4 of 11. Vancouver's a team, Jerry, just 25% shooting. They've made all 3 of their free throws, but they haven't made much else.
No, and really, other than Abdul-Rahim, he's so far been the only guy they can consistently go to for points. Normally, Mike Bibby, Mike Dickerson have been guys that can score for him, but haven't yet showed the consistency.
48-20
country tonight, and also look like with Ike Austin struggling,
right.
You know, with maybe legs bothering him a little bit. It's going to be tough for the Grizzlies putting size on the floor.
Ito threw the ball away. Dickerson. Sacramento 8 turnovers here in the first half. Long with the angle pop.
And the 5'10" power forward Bobby Jackson goes up and gets it.
Ito from downtown. And it's 51-25. Jerry, when you watch him in practice, does he take that shot more in practice? And what about his three-point shooting?
He can shoot. I'm telling you, this young guy's got all the tools, and he's got the toolbox. It's all there. It's just a matter of time on the court, experience, confidence.
Webber, Divac, and Williams will check in a minute. It's all Sacramento. And there's Barry.
And don't you just love it when John Barry shoots it, because nobody does it better.
Yep, and that will be the King starters back in. 25. Bobby Jackson on the foul. Funderburk. Barry coming out. Barry with 2 threes.
Obviously, bench very productive. John Barry, Lawrence Funderburk, everybody. Bobby Jackson didn't score a lot of points, but was very productive, staying in the game.
3:38 left.
With Jay Will and Bobby in the same time, a little bit of a A bit of a mini backcourt.
Haven't seen it that much this year. I don't know if we've seen it at all when these two.
I don't know that we have. I think you're right.
And a foul. Rick Adelman just experimenting here with the lead and just figuring out maybe a combination that he hasn't tried may work down the road.
I think that's part of it. Also, you know, you do have a small backcourt out there for for Vancouver. Dickerson really a 6'3" maybe, so it can be matched up with. But I think more than anything else, it looks like.
Hey, folks, the next time the Kings win at home, save your ticket stub. It's worth a free Carl's Jr. Western Bacon Cheeseburger with a large beverage purchase. Carl's Jr., without us, some guys would starve. Shomile Swift out, Ike Austin in.
I think the Grizz figured they needed to get somebody to at least fight with Vlade Divac in low for the power forwards that were on the floor.
56-27. Bibby in the backcourt with Dickerson. Now it's Ike Austin, Grant Long, Sharif Abdur-Rahim on the forward line. Grant Long knocked away and a reaching foul. So that will send Long to the free throw line. Weber picks up the foul. First foul on Weber.
Here's see Grant Long driving through the defense. There's C. Webb right over the top. Gets a lot of arm, and that drew the foul. That's one thing the Grizzlies are doing. They're getting to the free throw line now. Kings probably trying to make maybe more steals with their hands than they should be getting position with their feet right now. That's tough when you get a big lead. That's the first thing that kind of goes. You get a little careless defensively.
First miss from the free throw line tonight for Vancouver. They're 7 of 8. We approach the 3-minute mark. 56-28 in Sydney Low. Tough times. His team has lost 13 straight away from home, on their way to 14 straight. And not being competitive in the ball game at all. And good defense that time as they triple team Weber, and it's Bibby.
Yeah, just a poor pass by Vlade. No place to put the ball. Really should have sent the ball all the way across court. Open man was Hito.
Nice move by Abdur-Rahim. He's been in the trade rumors.
Well, I think Vancouver rumors are, whether they're true or not, looking at about anything that could help their team, as they should, because this team needs to make some changes. They say, you know, they're saying if it's not broke, don't fix it. It's broke.
They just got Weber this third foul. And a timeout. Chris Weber not happy. Getting called for that third personal. We'll have another look as we go to the break, and you be the judge. 56-30 Sacramento.
Burger, fries, and the soda. Don't bother me. I'm eating. The charbroiled superstar at Carl's Jr.
Only one can be the best. To get there takes strength, speed, and endurance.
One athlete's foot medicine has it all. Lamisil AT.
Strength.
Full prescription strength to stop the itching and burning.
Speed.
These take 4 weeks of treatment. Lamisil AT cures it with just one.
Endurance.
3 months later, you're still athlete's foot free.
Game over.
The official athlete's foot treatment of the NBA, Lamisil AT. The best way to cure athlete's foot. DirecTV.
The regional sports report is on the air tonight and every night at 11. Get a half hour of the day in sports, Northern California style. Join the gang on the 11 p.m. regional sports report for these stories only on Fox Sports Net. Sharif Abdur-Rahim, the lone bright spot for Vancouver with 15 points. Look at that.
Well, he's a guy who scores on everybody in the league, and certainly when a team's struggling as bad as the Grizzlies are, they're going to go to him even more, and they should.
56-30. But the only thing that could go wrong for the Kings tonight would be an injury. 2:24 left.
There's a little knock on wood there.
We're in the second quarter. Offensive foul. Abdur-Rahim.
And boy, that was a nice bit of defense. Jason Williams simply defended the low post. Rahim had him, fronted him. Raheem had to push off in order to get position. Officials made the call. Raheem didn't like it, but hey, you're wrong, partner. Get on down the floor.
Surprised he didn't get hit with the delay of game warning. And Divac fouled as he went to make the pass. Ike Austin picking up the personal.
Boy, Vlade looked like a big tree there. Watch him look like, you want to say timber here. Look, he steps, takes a bad step. El Cabongo.
I don't know where the foul is there.
I'm not sure either. Maybe a little trip there, but it really, I think Vlade just lost his footing, quite honestly.
Kind of looked like you serving.
I tell you what, that looks like me a lot, actually.
57-30. Vlade Divac with 13 points. Weber, offensive rebound. That was the first miss from the line for Sacramento. They're 9 of 10 from the stripe. Divac, and it rolled off his fingers because he was fouled, but there was no whistle. Vlade very upset at the lack of a call. Bibby. Now the kick back out.
Yeah, it certainly looked like Vlade was fouled on that one, much as the time before, maybe not. But Mike Bibby starting to get heated up a little bit. So along with Raheem, a couple of the Grizzlies are moving. And, of course, Chris Webber is always doing the good things in the open floor.
17 for Webber, 59-32. We've got a minute and 25 seconds left here in the second quarter. Christie creating havoc for Dickerson. Look at the hustle there by Doug Christie.
Well, and Michael Dickerson really just taking too many chances with the basketball. Sometimes when you're being defended well, move the basketball. Nothing wrong with that. And Doug Christie, I think, will kind of remind him of that. If you want to dribble against Doug Christie, sometimes you're going to lose it.
Bibby is short, and it's out of bounds off Webber. So they'll have 24 seconds put back on the shot clock. Dickerson, the running left-hander, short. And here comes Jason Williams. Yes. Jason's first shot, a good one.
Well, it was, and Jay Will had showed great judgment there. Really couldn't have a path to basket. Grant Long had hustle back, just flared out for a little 15-footer. Beautiful touch.
61-32.
Jay Will showing more leadership and poise all the time.
And a foul. Christie got him from behind. Third foul on Doug Christie. Well, the Kings had a breather the last time out on Tuesday night against the Golden State Warriors, and it looks like the same tonight with 50 seconds left first half. 61-32. Dickerson with 4 points going to the free throw line.
Yeah, Doug Christie has really bothered Michael Dickerson. Certainly getting a chance to points at the line. See the frustration in Dickerson's eyes as he looked at Doug Christie, I think thinking, would you just go away and leave me alone? Because no easy attempts. Doug will do that. He'll take the fun out of the game for you.
61-34. Alley-oop, Christie, but it was broken up and read nicely by Dickerson, and it will be Vancouver ball.
Well, good look from Jay Will, just not quite there.
Bibby looking for a 2-for-1 opportunity. Christie. Oh, and Ike Austin with a foul preventing a wide open 2-on-1 for Sacramento. So free throws at the other end for Christie. Well, coming up at the intermission here on Fox Sports Net, we'll take a look at the Kings team store. We'll have first half stats and highlights, and Coach will talk with Kings assistant coach John Wetzel. (62-34).
It was good to see Doug get his 2 points a little different way, but well, when Mike Bibby left his feet looking for somewhere to pass that ball in the last play, you knew Doug Christie was going to be somewhere in the area.
And a blocking foul will send Mike Bibby to the line. Third foul on Divac.
Well, Vlade frustrated there. And it is one of those situations he's saying, you know, as a defender now, just exactly where am I supposed to go? David Jones explaining the call to Jason Williams, both having a little chuckle. Here we'll see the play of Vlade steps out. You see, really doesn't get his foot down in time, although, you know, he certainly was trying to.
Good call.
And I mean, really, it's a case where Vlade had the right idea, just a split second slow, but that's
Sure.
a good effort on his part, but a good call.
Shot clock off, 63-36. This has been an area of concern for the Kings. Final possessions of quarters, and it's knocked away by Grant Long. I talked to Rick Adelman about this earlier this week, and he said, well, really what we need to do is just get the ball to Webb and then let him go to work, and if he's doubled, pass the ball. Or shoot. And again, the Kings do not get a basket at the end of a quarter, but that's about the only thing they did wrong. I'll tell you, Sacramento pouring it on Vancouver, and with 24 minutes of basketball in the books, Weber has 17 points. He leads all scorers, and Sacramento with the 63-36 lead at the break. Scorers in this ball game, and Weber was 17, Divac, Peja, Turkoglu, Berry. Meanwhile, Sharif Abdur-Rahim 15, Bibby in double figures with 10. Vancouver basketball to start the third quarter. It is Bibby with Dickerson, Austin, Abdur-Rahim, Long up front, and Dickerson can't hit. He's 2 of 8. Meanwhile, Jason Williams, Doug Christie, Weber, Stojakovic, Divac.
Well, what Rick Adelman wants, he wants his starting unit to start the way they started the game.
Peja wide open. Stops, pops, yes.
Well, good look from Chris Webber. Really, I think, startled Peja being so open.
65-36.
Didn't startle him enough to miss, I might add.
Bibby, left or wing 3. Yes, I'll tell you, I didn't think he was going to fire at first, but then he pulled the trigger and he hits the shot. 65-39. Bibby has 13. We're in the third quarter here for Marco. And Ike Austin holding on to Vlade Divac. Third foul on Austin.
Well, it's really a tough matchup for Ike Austin. Certainly you can see really just having difficulty moving. He's had a lot of leg and ankle problems through his career. Never was the most mobile guy.
And Long cuts Doug Christie off underneath the basket. Sharif from the outside. Rebound Divac. Quick outlet Williams. Peja with a 3. And Abdur-Rahim with the rebound. Dangerous pass, but a good catch by Long. Oh, that was nicely done from Bibby to Grant Long.
Well, it sure was. Outstanding catch. I mean, certainly the pass was okay, but a great catch and finish by Grant Long.
65-41. And Christie banks it off Dickerson out of bounds. Oh, I beg your pardon. It did not hit Dickerson.
Looked like a good defensive play. Michael Dickerson just stood his ground. I think Doug Christie was expecting a foul, but didn't happen.
Can you pick up lazy and bad habits in games like this?
Well, yeah, you can, and I think that's what Rick Adelman and his coaching staff will be trying to watch. You know, they obviously do not want that to happen, and got a lot of good bench players over there, so I think they'll be looking for letdowns.
Boy, Vancouver shooting the ball as if they were on a 5-day train ride across the United States before this one. Christie, no. Rebound Long. Vancouver at 27%. Not going to miss this one. Ike Austin.
Well, Grizzlies making a mini run here. Scored
7-0.
7-0. Spurt.
And Weber with a nice soft touch. He has 19.
And he is a spurt breaker, no question about it. Get the ball, see Webb low, you're going to get points.
And the basket counts. Grant Long off continuation, fouled by Peja Stojakovic.
Well, you've got to like that from the Grizzlies. Got scored on, really pushed the ball up the floor, went right to the hoop. Grant Long gets the hoop. So really trying to attack the Kings on defense now. And really, their only chance to even sort of get back is they've got to score a lot of points.
And Long in double figures, he has 10. 67-44, nearly 3 minutes into this third quarter. Peja gets the step on Long, and now the drop off out of bounds with 8 on the 24. Rick Adamman telling the official David Jones to call it the same way on both ends, talking about the forearm of Grant Long. Vlade, nice little scoop. Oh, it's in and out. Rebound Weber. And he'll go to the stripe. Chris Weber to the free throw line for the first time tonight.
Well, boy, one thing we have seen is Vlade Divac's able to drive Ike Austin at will. Got right to the basket. Going to get a good look at it here, I think. See, what's Vlade Divac? Here's the finish right at the basket. Little finger roll. Does not get it, but there's C. Webb you see coming into your picture in the middle of two Grizz. Well, the first half, the Kings just absolutely beat the fur off the Grizzlies, but definitely Grizzlies starting to establish a little something offensively.
69-46. And they'll send Sharif Abdul-Rahim to the line. Vlade Divac picks up the personal foul. Second foul on Vlade.
And a nice pass from Mike Austin to Abdul-Rahim, because Mike Austin really plays a little bit of a high post type center, can shoot the ball, and I think most of the Kings felt that he was.
First miss from the line for Abdul-Rahim after making 5 straight. And he misses 2. So it stays 69-46. These two teams will hook up in April again, the 6th of April in Vancouver, back here on the 16th of the same month to wrap up the 4-game set. Divac's tip, no. And did they get a timeout called? Yes, they did. A 20-second timeout called by Vancouver. So with 8:21 left, the Grizzlies will get possession after their 20.
Well, here's a look at it now as Peja drives the hoop. Has a pretty good look. Changes his shot the last second. You see Grizzlies falling everywhere. But there's Ike Austin with the ball. Not on the line. Tries to call timeout. Evidently does get the timeout. So that's a good, quick thinking play by Ike Austin.
Well, the first game after the All-Star break is the first meeting of the year this season, if you can believe that, between the Kings and the Jazz. We'll have it for you on Fox Sports Net. It's a 5, and that should be dandy.
Well, it will be a dandy. I mean, but when you go into Utah land, you better lace them up tight.
Yep. Fasten the
About a Jerry Sloan team, you're not going to catch them unawares.
Well, one thing about Utah this year, they have uncharacteristically lost a lot of games at home compared to other years. But, just when they lose, like they did last Sunday to San Antonio or last Saturday, they go on the road, they beat Denver, they go on the road, they beat Seattle. Don't ever count out the Utah Jazz. They check in right now at 30-15. They are 14-7 away from home, 16-8 at home.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day is just rack up the Jazz.
Off Vancouver. Be sure and stop by McDonald's today for your choice of 2 sausage McMuffin with egg sandwiches or 2 Big Macs for only $2.22. Only $2.22 because of McDonald's. We love to see you. Long looks to Bibby. Dickerson just having trouble. He's 2 of 9 and it will go to Sacramento.
He really has. I don't think I've seen Michael Dickerson struggle this much from the field, especially with the kind of shots he's had. absolutely wide open look.
Weber from 20. 23. Weber.
Well, see, Webb says, hey, I established my three-point shot, so now I'll just step in for the 18-footer.
Now it's Long, finding Abdur-Rahim posting. Rebound, Divac. 71-46 Sacramento. And it will go to Vancouver as it hit the shot clock.
Yeah, that ball looked good all the way until it actually got to the rim. Jay Will been very selective in his shooting here of late, and certainly that reflected in his percentage and reflects in how this team has played.
Five minutes into the third. Dickerson. 2 of 10 is Dickerson. But the putback by Sharif, Abdur-Rahim.
Very quick off his feet. Abdur-Rahim, great position, got the ball, finishes the play.
17 for Abdur-Rahim.
Dickerson and Christie really fighting in low.
Well, Dickerson fouled Christie about 3 times on that play, and they finally get him. Second foul on Dickerson.
Yeah, there's less body contact in WWF on many nights than that.
10 on the 24 for Weber. Now 5 to shoot. Nice drop off to Christie.
Oh, great pass, Vlade Divac. Doug Christie just caught that ball one-handed, finished the play.
73-48. Divac 13 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. Divac 10 rebounds, so a double-double for Vlade Divac. And he gets right by Long, but he can't roll home the layup. So he'll go to the line for a pair. Peja Stojakovic with 10 points on the evening. He's 2 of 2 from the free throw line.
Well, that's a real nice move. Peja really where he wanted him to get to because he felt he could beat Grant Long off the dribble and did so.
Damon Jones will check in for Vancouver. Dickerson out.
Yeah, Dickerson just really struggling. Doug Christie, I think, has gotten into Michael Dickerson's head a little bit here tonight, because even when he's got easy shots, I think he's always looking for Doug.
Well, next up for Doug Christie, Kobe Bryant.
Well, that might be a little tougher.
Yeah.
Boy, is Kobe good or what?
10 on the shot clock.
Yeah, Kobe's just one of those guys that's unguardable.
Abdur-Rahim. It's a lot like Allen Iverson that way. You just can't guard the man one-on-one.
No, I mean, he's a lot bigger, younger version, but there's some guys that you just have to hope they miss some shots.
75-50. Of course, as you probably know by now, Shaquille O'Neal will not play in that ball game Sunday. 25-point Sacramento lead. Biggie. And another opportunity off the offensive rebound for the Grizzlies. Vancouver shooting 29% for the ball game. Weber from 15.
Well, nice assist, Jay Will. Fooled everybody in the building, but he and Chris Webber certainly are in tune.
This has a feel of an exhibition game tonight. You know that? The crowd's dead. The players don't look like, there's not a lot of passion out there. The Kings are just doing it, creating all kinds of problems. Vancouver can't make a shot. They're shooting less than 30%. And a timeout. 77-50. Sacramento in a rout here on Fox Sports Net.
Food down, walk away, nobody gets hurt. Let's do it! I got him!
Think you're tough enough to drive a Tacoma?
Give me back!
Join the club. Introducing the double cab with over 5 feet of bed length.
You just can't mess with a man's salad.
Word up. It's not being spammed. It's not being emailed to death. I'm a smart guy, and I don't want to be limited to where I can travel. It's a two-way street, but not for them to get into you. The quickness, you can just operate so fast. I don't like things that move slow. I like to be bam, 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 move, move, move. Or the same thing when you see the rat in the maze and he's trying to find his way. He's looking, going, and he smells that cheese. He's going to get it. You know, that's the way we are on the internet sometimes. You click here. No, that's not the right spot. It's this side, back to this side. No, I'm going to go here. That's what that allows you to do. You know, you don't have to wait around.
Kings leading it big. We check in with Jim Kozimor. Coz?
Grant, I know many people think that when I speak of Canadian basketball teams, I don't know what I'm speaking about, but I will try to assuage that thought of yours. Here we go. The Vancouver Grizzlies have been in the NBA 6 seasons. Over 6 years, they have a combined 90 wins. To put that into perspective for you, that would say that in 1995-96, when they came into the league, they've had a very tough time. But in that same year, the Chicago Bulls had 72 wins in the regular season. And if you take their preseason, regular season, and postseason numbers all the way until the finals, in that 1 year, the Bulls won 90. The Grizz are there right now, and right now I don't think they're going to get to 91 tonight. Brand Jerry, back to you guys.
Yeah, the organization, Coz,
You're right.
In a little bit of a problem.
Good point.
Well, say I've sat and watched many games from the other perspective, and I know exactly what Sidney Lowe's feeling. You probably know a lot better than I do.
No, I know exactly what Sidney Lowe's feeling.
Yeah.
you only think you do, but you know, really what he's got to do with this team is, you know, and really is to say, come on, guys, we've got to get together and try harder. You may not win the ball game, but you've got to be professional, come out there and play as well as you can. And we are seeing a better effort here in the third quarter. Obviously, the Grizzlies are in a big hole, but they have cut into the lead by a couple of points.
Well, you see Charlotte leading the Lakers down in Los Angeles 66-61. Up all game in the third quarter. 31 points for Kobe Bryant in that game. Weber gets free. And no. He'll go right back to the free throw line.
Boy, that's a nice play. That was called at the timeout. And Doug Christie, Chris Weber. Let's have a good look at it here. You see Doug Christie, really a little eye contact with Chris Weber. Just goes back door. Would have had a layup, but really a good foul because that saved a sure basket.
Pretty safe to say that when the Kings go to Los Angeles for the game Sunday, they'll know who's going to be taking the majority of shots.
I think we can probably surmise that it might be Mr. Bryant.
31 for Kobe.
Actually, he was going to take the.
Tonight.
He would have probably taken the. Had even Shaq been there, but definitely will.
79-52. A lot of good performances tonight. Stackhouse had 40. Pierce had 40 in the Celtics-Pistons game. And a foul away from the ball on Doug Christie, his fourth.
Celtics playing much better, obviously, since the retirement of Rick Pitino. Jim O'Brien's taken that team, and they're playing much better than they were before.
Retirement or resignation?
Who cares?
I don't think he's going to stay retired for long. Well, 79-52.
He will in the NBA.
There's no doubt about that. Now Bibby with the left wing three connects. Mike Bibby has 16.
Well, Mike Bibby starting to kind of heat it up. Sharif Abdur-Rahim has already been there, so if the Grizzlies can kind of get one more guy to come with them and make a little run at this game, maybe.
Christie posting. Doug Christie has 9.
Well, great pass from Christie to Weber. The possession before was Weber to Christie this time.
Top of the key, long. And it will go right back to Sacramento, and that puts the shooting percentage under 30 again at 29.7.
Yeah, actually, I don't really think the Grizzlies are going to make a run at this game, but I got to, you know, we got to keep the people tuned in, right?
I'll tell you, I would think that if the Kings don't score anymore, they would win this game. Williams, Massenberg, Weber. And it's saved by Massenberg. Jones, and that's one thing Damon Jones can do. He can shoot the long ball.
Yes, he can. Very, very athletic. A pretty good little defender. One of those guys that Kings had in a summer camp in Utah a couple years ago. Really thought about keeping him, just really didn't have a spot at that time.
Divac fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line and shoot 2. When we come back, 2 minutes and 44 seconds left. We're in the third quarter, 81-58, Sacramento.
Imagine this map is the internet, and all these streets intersect to form an information superhighway. But not everyone has access to an on-ramp.
Everybody ready?
Yeah. Tim Duncan and the Spurs know that technology is the fast lane to the future.
Let's get online.
So they've donated computers to schools in their community that connect students to a whole new world.
Oh, what happened?
And this will help them to cross the bridge right over the digital divide. Team up to improve your community.
Let's make the driving experience more enjoyable.
We'll rent Jaguars, town cars.
And the Grand Marquis for $49.
Oh, the cars will have leather seats, a CD player.
And aromatherapy candles.
We don't really need aromatherapy candles. Maybe not the candles, but the enjoyable thing is good, you know?
I like these.
This month on Direct Ticket Pay-Per-View on DirecTV.
Experienced the difference at Folsom Automall, the official Automall partner of the Sacramento Kings, as you look at the Royal Court dancers. And Slamson had a little accident with his birthday cake that he was giving to someone. Well, Slamson's in the zone, and he's not the only one. Tonight's in the zone, brought to you by AutoZone. The right part, the right price, and good advice. Chris Webber, 27 points on 11 of 17. This quarter, 10 points and 3 rebounds.
Well, that's a zone that Chris Webber goes to very often, but I think Slamson is going to have to kind of lay low for a while. What do you think?
I think so. He will be, because the Kings are on the road for 2 weeks. Their next home game, Jerry, 2 weeks from tonight against the Denver Nuggets.
And the Nuggets have really been playing well.
And the Kings play the night before in Portland, whereas Denver will be here watching that game. And Divac misses both of them. 81-58. And Mahmoud Abdul Rauf is in, the former Sacramento King.
Well, Rauf's one of those guys that can have some real streaks. Obviously doesn't have them very often, as he once did 5-6 years ago when he was one of the premier shooters in the league.
Boy, when he played with the Denver Nuggets,
well,
when he got into a groove, it was absolutely frightening.
It was, yeah, a thing to behold. You know, he had about 2-3 years there where he was so quick, he could get a shot just about on anybody.
Of course, he was like that in college, as you see the shot good by Jones, but when he was formerly Chris Jackson playing for LSU. 81-60. We have 2 minutes left. And there's Stojakovic. Peja has 14, 83-60. And look at that, Christie hustling all over and went right into the lap of Mrs. Maloof, sitting at center court.
Yeah, that definitely could have been a mistake, even though a great hustle play. It's good to see Peja getting better and better in those mid-range jumpers.
And knocked out of bounds again by Doug Christie.
Doug Christie just simply has great anticipation, you know. Takes the shot away, and when the shot's taken away, he's always anticipating the pass.
They are still awaiting the arrival of their baby. I'm talking about Doug Christie and his wife Jackie, as she has been on hold for quite a while now. And you see Mahmoud hit the jumper.
Well, the Grizzlies heating it up a little bit, up to 33%.
They really couldn't have shot the ball any worse. Peja, a three, and it won't go. Rebound to Abdul Rahim, 83-62. Massenberg poked away by Divac.
The Grizzlies have chopped 6 points off the Kings' lead.
Peja triple. 86-62.
Now they chopped 3 points off the Kings' lead. Peja Stojakovic.
Peja has 17.
That was a little bit of Peja vu.
Peja, of course, will be trying to shoot the ball just like that next weekend in D.C. at the 3-point shooting contest.
Yeah, I think Peja and Ruthie Bolton-Holyfield will be playing the 2-ball, so I would almost guarantee a win there.
Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf hits another shot.
Has got a little bit of a feel for it now.
Weber from 16. In and out. Rebound Strickland. Half-minute left, third quarter. Chris Webber with his 10th rebound. Another double-double for Chris Webber. He's got 27 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if the Kings can get not only the last shot, but score.
Yeah, well, again, this is one of their weaknesses. End of quarters, final possessions, not settling for good shots. And there's another example of poor execution at the end of a quarter for Sacramento. Well, Webber, 32 double-doubles this season, including 29 of his last 33 games. 86-64, 12 minutes left here on Fox Sports Net.
Hey, Sac fans, how you doing? This is Chris Webber, and I just really want to take time out right now to thank you guys for voting and helping to make me a starter on the All-Star team. I know I couldn't have done it without the fans here. I'd like to thank the organization, the Malou family, and on behalf of me and the coaching staff, we really thank you guys for all your support, and hopefully we'll go to D.C. and represent Sacramento like they should be represented. Thank you very much.
Well, maybe he'll go win the MVP. Chris Webber, going back to his former city, 27 points, 10 rebounds. They got 2 power forwards starting for the West. Tim Duncan and Chris Webber.
But you know, the thing about it is that's a little bit of a fooler because they both have small forward skills, really, offensively and defensively. So I really don't think that if I were the East, I wouldn't feel good about that.
Well, Rick Alleman will be coaching Chris Webber and the rest of the All-Stars. Quite a tribute to what the Kings have done here in the first half of this season. 86-64. Jackson with Christie, Stojakovic, Webber, Pollard. I would think Chris Webber would probably play 2 to 3 more minutes, and that would be it. So why not get a couple more points? 29 for Webber.
Well, you certainly would think that Rick Adelman, the kind of job he's accomplished with this team, would start being talked about as coach of the year. Certainly there's several good candidates, but Rick is one of the best.
Mahmoud, no. Knocked away, and it's Strickland with the loose ball. And Swift, no. And it's a violation traveling. He caught his own miss.
Well, there's the case. Stromile Swift really just didn't know where he was on the floor, what he's going to do with the ball. I think was hoping to be able to dunk the basketball, but you see sometimes you have to be able to do more than that, and kind of gets caught in between.
Jackson from 15. And out of bounds off Chris Webber. Boy, again, hard to believe this is a regular season game. Fans just quiet as, you know, there's nothing to really get excited about. Mahmoud cut off at the top of the key. Now a long 2 by Strickland is good. Beg your pardon, it's a 3. He had his foot behind the line. 88-67.
Yeah, it's been one of those games where really unusual in the NBA where one team just simply takes over in the first few minutes and has a big lead all the way. And certainly Grizzlies have cut in a little bit, but the team's still under complete control.
Certainly Rick Adelman doesn't mind seeing games like this, and he can use his whole bench and doesn't have to worry about losing the game.
Yeah, the only thing Rick's worried about is, you know, do we lose a little bit of intensity, getting in some bad habits, things of that nature, because sometimes the scoring comes too easy, and you do things you really shouldn't do.
Well, the one thing with the Lakers coming up on Sunday, Shaq or no Shaq, and it is going to be the latter, you don't have to worry about the Kings getting up for that ball game.
No, absolutely not. It's the Lakers. The defending world champs, any way you slice it.
Of course, the Kings lost in overtime to the Lakers at Arco earlier in the year when the Kings played without Chris Webber. And Webber has 31, and I would think Rick Alderman will go to the bench here in the next few seconds. I'd be surprised if he does not start clearing the bench.
I think that's exactly what will happen pretty quick.
Now John Barry and Hedo Turkoglu get up off the bench. Stolen. 90-67. They look for more. Jackson. And the Kings were out of bounds, so that will put John Barry and Hedo Turkoglu back in. So Turkoglu takes the warm-up off along with John Barry. Hedo had 7 points in the first half. John had 6. And Christie and Stojakovic are done for the evening.
Yeah, Hedo and JB had really strong stints in that second quarter.
It's the 15th time that Chris Webber scored 30-plus points. Well, I don't think there's any question that if the MVP balloting were done today, Allen Iverson and Chris Webber would be 1-2. Not necessarily in that order, but they in all likelihood would be 1 and 2.
They absolutely would. I don't think there's any question. Now here again is just who knows what the order would be, and I think that's going to obviously come down to the end of the season.
Hedo knocked away from him. 10 to shoot. Jackson. And Bobby Jackson is on the scoreboard. So every King that has played has scored. Derek Martin, Nick Anderson have not yet played. They'll probably get in here in a second. Lawrence Funderburk's going to check in for Chris Webber at the next whistle, which would be a timeout. And right now, that stops the clock. Timeout, 8:17 left here in the fourth. 92-67. It's all Sacramento on Fox Sports Net. Webber probably done for the evening with 31 points.
Frequent flyers on most airlines are thousands of miles from a free trip. But on Southwest Airlines, we award our frequent flyers based on trips, not miles. With Rapid Rewards, when you book online at southwest.com, your free ticket is only 4 round trips away. Southwest Airlines Rapid Rewards, the fastest way to free trips.
You are now free to move about the country.
People who don't have an Allstate agent, who do they turn to?
In Folsom, see Allstate agent Mike Basiocco. In Citrus Heights, see Gloria C. Nelson. And in Sacramento, see Allstate agent Scott Streepy.
92-67 Sacramento. We check in with Jim Kozimor. Coz.
You know, tonight I'm just enjoying the game with the fans because that's the best way to be a Kings fan, is sit here. Everyone's having a good time, right?
Absolutely.
All right, now it's going to be a tough road trip coming up for the Sacramento Kings. After this game today, take a look at the 5 games the Kings have got to play. And ironically enough, the easiest of those games might be the first one because they go to Los Angeles to take on the Lakers, who will be without Shaquille O'Neal. But the thing about this stretch of games is the team with the worst home record, if you could call it that, is still 8 games over 500 when they play in their building. So the Kings needed this game tonight to get out fashion. Remember, 5 tough games, and after those 5 games, they come home for Denver, and then it's Utah right here in this building. Fans will be ready, right?
Yes, they will, and the Kings are going to beat the Lakers.
All right, you heard it here first, Grant and Jerry. Take it to the bank.
Go Kings!
All right, Coz. And that fan is into it. Definitely into this one. Well, look at that. Lakers now on top in the fourth, 75-73. Kobe Bryant has 38 points. It's one thing about the Lakers, Shaq or no Shaq, they still have Kobe Bryant. And
well, that's a interesting little face painting there, young lady.
Chris Webber through for the night with 31, 12 rebounds, 4 assists. A couple of block shots. Mahmoud. And Swift stolen, but Swift gets it back. And Sharif Abdur-Rahim has 23.
Well, Abdur-Rahim is just one of those guys that can do a lot of things around the basket, and even though he's not real strong physically, has very long and used both right and left hands very effectively.
And Sharif with the rebound. It's Abdul-Rauf with Bibby, Swift, Abdul-Rahim, Dickerson. 92-69, Mahmoud sets up Bibby for the three. And it hit the shot clock, so it goes to Sacramento.
Sidney Lowe trying to exhort his troops.
The schedule gets a little bit easier for Vancouver. They've got Chicago, then they're at Seattle. They've got then Utah, Boston, and Golden State. But go home to take on the Bulls. Bulls almost beat Seattle last night, actually.
Yeah, of course, Peyton only played a few minutes, and
That's right.
Patterson didn't play at all. So you kind of have to study the box scores.
And Peyton, by the way, is not going to accompany the Sonics to Utah for their game tomorrow night. I'm sure Jerry Sloan's not bothered by that development.
I'm sure he's not, because as we know, Gary Payton really kind of is the Sonics.
92-71, 6:40 left here in the fourth.
Well, Gary Payton against the Kings, he has just been great over the years.
Absolutely.
He really has.
Pollard loses it. And finally, Dickerson connects. He's now 3 of 11. 92-73.
Well, Kings really need to get some points here. Really struggled offensively here in the last couple of minutes. Just haven't even had a good look at the basket.
And Mahmoud with a pushing foul on Jackson as we approach the halfway point of the fourth. Well, folks, coming up for you right here on Fox Sports Net nightly at 10 and 12. It's the National Sports Report, the show that gives you a complete wrap-up of all the day's sports news with internet interaction, scores and highlights, opinions, and analysis. The National Sports Report nightly at 10 and 12, only on Fox Sports Net. Jackson, shot clock winding down, so he had to fire.
Rick Adelman really upset, felt early on that John Barry had been fouled, and now you see Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf getting it going. So Grizzlies making a little mini run.
An 8-0 run for Vancouver, 92-75. 5:48 left ball game. We'll be back.
A kid was walking on a beach where the tide had left 1,000 starfish stranded. He began tossing them one by one back into the ocean when someone asked, "How could you think you're going to make a difference?" And as the kid tossed another fish back into the sea, he replied, "I made a difference to that one." If any one of us are going to make a difference, we first must believe that we can. Team up to improve your community.
The place to be for talking hoops is the NBA Beat, presented by Sportsline.com.
We've got one heck of a show lined up.
The interactive talk show telecast live from the NBA store on NBA.com.
The Sacramento Kings official auto mall partner is the Folsom Auto Mall. Experience the difference today at the Folsom Auto Mall. Jerry, and how about the Folsom Lake Toyota keys to crunch time?
Well, right now, no injuries. That's a key. You got to keep playing defense, though. Don't let up. And the third, hey, the bench is in there. Let the bench develop.
Keys to the game brought to you by Folsom Lake Toyota, Highway 50 at the Folsom exit under the flag.
And right now, the bench needs to score some points.
JB out there with Jackson, Pollard, Funderburk, and Turkoglu, and Pollard misses the layup. Thornton was hacked, no foul called. And now the Kings go back on defense.
He may have been brushed a little bit there, but that's a play that Scott's got to finish.
Yep, an 8-0 run for Vancouver here in the fourth. And out of bounds was Mike Bibby. Bennett Salvador standing on the sideline made the call. So Vancouver turns it over for the 15th time.
Yeah, both teams 15 turnovers. Hasn't been a real sloppy game from that perspective.
Barry left his feet and had nowhere to go. Bibby with the flip.
And Mike Bibby wanting the foul call, probably right, but I think sometimes maybe situation like this, officials are kind of letting the game clock run.
Kings by 15.
But Kings need to score some points.
They led by 29 in the third quarter. 10 to shoot. A three by JB is short, and it will go to Vancouver. 4:33 left. 10-0 run in the last 4:05. Oh, Mahmoud. Ladies and gentlemen, that is vintage Mahmoud Abdul Rauf.
Little inside head fake, just cleared a lot of space and knocked in the jumper past John Barry.
Rick Allen does not want to have to put his starters back in.
No, he doesn't. And right now, the bench is simply being outplayed by the Grizzly bench. As well as they played in the second quarter, they're playing as poorly in the fourth.
Well, timeout, Sacramento. 4:09 left. And it's 92-79 Kings.
Interesting. Coca-Cola or Pepsi-Cola? A paradox. While molecularly similar, they logically seem to offer two possibilities. Of course, you must invariably arrive.
92-79. And we get to the game summary presented by Carl's Jr. Without us, some guys would starve. Weber 31-12. Sharif Abdur-Rahim 23-8. Field goal percentage Sacramento, and the Kings looking for their 20th win at home. And guess what? The Kings starting unit is back on the floor.
Well, Rick Allen had seen enough. Bench mob just wasn't playing well. Put his starters back with the exception of Vlade Divac, staying with Scott Pollard. So now go back on the keys to crunch time. Number one becomes very, very important. No injuries.
Right.
But the Kings have got to get some points on the board.
Abdul Rauf. That was a good look by Mahmoud, and normally if he's in a groove, he'll hit those.
Yeah, he is the, there's a lot of streaks. About all shooters are streak shooters to some degree. Mahmoud, maybe he take it to the extreme levels.
Yeah, he's the head of the list. Christie, and a foul on Bibby. A lot of contact there on the block. That is only the first team foul on Vancouver. Beg your pardon, second team foul on Vancouver.
Yeah, good mismatch here for the Kings. Doug Christie in low, just trying to overpower Bibby. He's able to do so.
Back to live action with 3:38 left. Pollard had it knocked away by Bibby. Transition the other way. And Mahmoud makes it 92-81.
Well, right now, this is the Vancouver Grizzlies show. Simply taking over the fourth quarter.
Pollard, foul by Sharif Abdur-Rahim with 3:10 left.
Well, nice little move. Jay Will got into the paint. Little running one-hander. Looked like it was going to go, but Scott Pollard hustled after the miss.
14-0 run.
Here we'll see it. Jay Will gets right into the paint. Nice little runner just off the back edge. But here's Scott Pollard hustling. Takes it up on the opposite side. Draws the foul.
(93-81). But the last thing Rick Allen wanted to do was put his starters back in for a variety of reasons. But Vancouver making the run here in the fourth. You see the bench points in the second half.
Well, it's a case where, you know, it's obviously something you don't want to do, but the momentum has clearly swung to the Grizzlies, and it has to be stopped. I mean, there's still time.
You know, actually, it's a good example. The game's not in jeopardy of being lost by Sacramento, I don't think, but it is a good example of why a lot of times you'll watch a game and you'll be watching it and you'll say, now how come the coach isn't taking out the starters? How come the starters are still in with a big lead with 5 minutes left? Well, this is why.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, first of all, in the NBA, there really aren't such thing as a big enough lead, and quite honestly, this game isn't over. I mean, it should be, but one team has clearly got the momentum, a couple of three-pointers, and this thing is very different.
That's my former coach talking, Jerry Reynolds. But once a coach, always a coach. Always worried. You're just like Rick Allen.
When you're not worried is when that horn goes off and you see you're ahead. Until then, you're worried.
Abdur-Rahim at 2 is good. 93-83 with 2:48 left.
And now it's a 10-point lead with 2:45. Kings need to score points. Don't kid yourself about it. Crowd knows it. Got to get something on the board.
Kings' last field goal came with 8:37 left in the fourth quarter. 10 to shoot. Bad pass by Christie there. And Abdur Rahim breaks out. Should have passed the ball. Boy, he had two guys wide open. Christie. And a foul on Mahmoud. Boy, I'll tell you, Sharif Abdur Rahim had two teammates open underneath the basket, and he forced a bad shot.
Yeah, that was a very selfish play, because had he did anything other than what he did, Grizzlies probably score in the open floor. You know, it's 93-85.
And a timeout.
Now Kings have a chance to score.
Vancouver with the timeout. 2 minutes and 19 seconds left. And the Kings with the 10-point lead, looking for their 31st victory of the season before they head out on a 5-game road trip, which starts Sunday in Los Angeles. We'll keep it here during the timeout. Well, down 10 and really fighting back a little bit. These are such hard games to figure out, Jerry. The Kings had a 29-point lead in the third, and they got a little lackadaisical, a little bit careless, and Vancouver started making shots that they had been missing for 2.5 quarters, and it got them back in the game a little bit.
That's almost predictable. It's almost impossible to lead wire to wire at any level of play, much less the NBA, which is a 48-minute game. Now, that's not to say the Kings didn't let down a little bit and maybe had some poor play, which certainly in the fourth quarter they have. But credit to Grizzlies, they have fought back. Credit that to their coaching staff, and quite honestly, had a little bit of a chance.
This guy here should have passed the ball in the last.
Had he made the right play in the open floor, here it is. He's got guys on each wing, goes right into the teeth of the defense, and Grizzlies get no points. Kings have a chance to score.
Weber. And Chris Weber making sure that the Sacramento Kings win the basketball game. That's going to pretty much do it with 2:07 left and a chance for a 3-point play.
Well, that's just a gorgeous up fake by Chris Weber. Had Abdur Rahim on him. We're going to give you a look at. Now watch Rahim leave his feet. Takes the fake on the jump shot. And of course, see Webb, then that's all he needs to do to get to the basket.
So Chris Weber has 33 along with 14 rebounds. Perfect from the line. 96-83.
Well, and that really should do it. But, I mean, obviously you want to score some more points, but 13 points, 2 minutes to go. You should feel a little better about it.
Mahmoud loves that move, doesn't he? He goes right, and then boom, quick step left.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who's been doing it for years. He always fakes the right move, but he always comes back left. I mean, really, the fact he doesn't play much anymore, I think a lot of players have forgotten that.
And Weber again will go to the free throw line.
Yeah, most players, right-hand players, prefer to go right. Mahmoud's made a career of faking the right move, going left.
Mahmoud, of course, well chronicled with Tourette's syndrome and has made playing at times very difficult. It's a situation that really flared up often in Denver when he was playing with the Nuggets. But to his credit, and to other people that have Tourette's syndrome, he's shown that you can do a lot with it. He's had a lengthy basketball career, and to his credit, has been able to play where some other athletes have had to cut it short. But Mahmoud has been able to persevere, and there he is playing for the Vancouver Grizzlies.
Yeah, you got to give him a lot of credit. Has had an outstanding career.
98-85. 36 for Weber. And Sharif Abdur Rahim foul. He'll go to the free throw line. Jason Williams picks up his third foul. Spoke to a lady on the radio today who was coming to her first Kings game ever. She did not really get the full experience.
No, I was going to say, if you talk to her, you might say, you know, give it one more chance, because this really isn't the most fun game that's ever been played in the building. But hey, there's 41 a year here in the regular season, so sometimes, but it's a win, or it should be. It's not yet, but 11 points, 1:30 to go. Kings really need to make some points at the line or from the field to wrap this one up.
And Christie to the line. Well, I'll tell you one thing that's happening right now. Rick Adelman's starters are getting pounded on here in the final minute and a half. And last thing you want to see is an injury heading into the road trip, which begins Sunday in Los Angeles.
Well, really, one thing you'd have to say, the Kings certainly will go into the road trip, starting with the Lakers. Very fresh, though. I mean, the starters, even though they played pretty good minutes, they played less than usual, certainly against Golden State and now here again tonight.
The 100-87, make that 100-90 with a minute 18 left. The Lakers and Hornets, and it's 86-83 Lakers in the fourth. 3 minutes left in that ball game. Actually, now it's 90-85 Lakers with a minute 22 left. So a 5-point game. The Lakers on top of Charlotte with a minute 22 left in that ball game. Abdur-Rahim with the foul. Well, Chris may get 40 tonight. He's got 36.
Well, I think Chris would have been very happy to end with 31.
Yep.
But really, the bench is a little surprised me a little bit, as well as they played in the second quarter. As we saw in the fourth, just came in not productive. I think probably expecting things to go too easy, and credit to the Vancouver Grizzlies. They had a little momentum going, had no intentions of stopping then.
So Chris Webber with 2. 102-90. Dickerson. Christie fouled him. Again, the Lakers beating the Hornets 90-85. There's a minute 22 left in that ball game. We'll keep you updated as we watch Dickerson and go to the line. Doug Christie sits down. He is fouled out of the ball game.
I'll tell you what, Doug Christie's play has been very significant tonight. Only maybe 11 points, but he's had a lot to do with Michael Dickerson struggling, and Michael Dickerson struggling is really one of the reasons that the Kings were able to get out to the big lead.
Derek Martin will come in for the final 48 seconds. Kobe Bryant tonight in that ball game, Jerry. 42 points for the Lakers.
He is quite good.
Now the Kings will get a look at him up close.
Oh, very close.
That man right there will on Sunday. And he'll need some help.
Yeah, I think Doug Christie can play him as well as anybody.
And Mahmoudi with the layup. 102-93. Ito coming to help out. Nice pass to Webber. There it is, 40 points for Chris Webber.
Nice pass from Ito. Kings finally break the press.
And a foul called on Jake.
Well, Rick Adelman saying just exactly what we don't want, no fouls. Now watch Ito on the open floor. Little drop off pass, C. Webb throws it down. Here's another look. Ito very unselfish with the left hand. Little drop pass, C. Webb.
So it's 104-94, 29 seconds left. Bibby.
Well, Abdur-Rahim goes out, 27 points. Terrific effort.
And now free throws at the other end. That's one thing I've never understood. In the 28 seconds left, down 9. Maybe if they make these, that will be it, and they can finish the ball game.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that was just kind of the last gasp. I don't think we'll see any more fouls if C. Webb can knock these down.
Looks like the Lakers are going to beat Charlotte 90-85. There's 25 seconds left in that ball game.
It was good to see a little emotion and comeback made by the Grizzlies, even though the first half effort was so poor. But credit Sidney Lowe. I think he got to his team at the half, and we saw a much better effort, much better team in the second half. Sometimes that's what you got. You're playing for pride. You're not always playing for wins. Sometimes the opposition's better.
Strickland. And now with 24 seconds, the shot clock off, and that should do it. Well, the Kings win their 31st game of the year, And now they start a 5-game road trip. And they will return to Arco Arena 2 weeks from tonight against the Denver Nuggets. Final score tonight: Sacramento 105, Vancouver 95. And Chris Webber with 41 points to lead all scorers. And now he'll focus his attention on the Los Angeles Lakers. Again, the Kings win it 105-95. We'll come back and have our post-game guest. You've been watching Kings basketball on Fox Sports Net.